What's going on, folks? This is Chris B. Daniels back in the house once again. And today, instead of talking about Beyond Belief, like we normally been doing, we're trying to get through this entire series. But I want to kind of deviate from that for today and talk about a movie I was watching last night. Now, a lot of y'all probably already seen it. Some of you may haven't. But this movie was freaking awesome. It was called Knock Knock. So I gotta say, now it stars Keanu Reeves, but this is a type of role that I never really seen him in. This is new to me, you know. But he had the dog, so I don't know. He reminded me of John Wick, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, he was not playing that role in this movie. So when the movie starts, it starts off with him, you know, in bed with his wife. It's his birthday, and then the kids come into the room. They made a cake for him and everything. They gave him this clock, and then they had like all their faces in it. It was pretty dope. But anyway, not too long after his birthday, the wife and the kids they go off to the beach for a couple of days. So this is where the movie really picks up right here. I'm not going to talk about it verbatim, but I'm gonna talk about some of the interesting parts. But the one thing I did know, I predicted, you know what I'm saying? As soon as the two girls showed up at the door when he was home alone, was the fact that they were eventually gonna get down. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen the trailer to this movie. I just never actually seen this movie. But he invites the girls in out of the rain. I guess their car broke down and they needed to call an Uber. And so while they were waiting, all three of them were conversating, and the girls they kept bringing up sex. You know what I'm saying? They kept trying to seduce him, but he kept resisting them because every time they came close to him, he got up and moved to a different seat. So, the Uber was about. Eventually, the Uber was like 5 minutes away, and one of the girls had went into the bathroom while the other one was still out there in the living room with him, talking about his records and the artwork and all of that. So the other girl, she winds up disappearing as well once the Uber actually showed up when he got their clothes out of the dryer. And then, he brought them back into the room, but neither one of them were there. So he's walking around the house looking for them. The next thing you know, homeboy walks into the bathroom and sees them both butt naked in the shower. And they pull him in. And then they start, grabbing on him, feeling on him, kissing him and all that. And eventually, he's still resisting. I gotta take my hat off to him. You know what I'm saying? He's still resisting until they both get on their knees and start giving him head at the same time. So at that point, all that shit went out the window. So next thing you know, this dude is smashing both of them. And then they all fall asleep. So the next morning, he's thinking they're gone, right? But instead, they're in the kitchen. The kitchen is a wreck. They made breakfast for all three of them. But the one thing that caught my eye while they was at the table eating, and he was over there, trying to figure out what was going on. One of the broads is over there drinking straight syrup. I was like, yo, this chick is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's nothing compared to what happened later on. So, the night before or in the middle of the night, I guess his wife had called him 1,000 times or texted him. And so he winds up calling her back. And then he steps outside, to avoid his wife seeing the two girls in the house or hearing them. So while he's on the phone on FaceTime with his wife outside, the two girls are at the sliding door showing off their titties and, you know what I'm saying, just doing all kinds of sexual stuff just to taunt him, you know what I'm saying, while he's outside on the phone. So he gets off the phone with his wife. And this is where you find out who these girls truly are. You know what I'm saying? They start to try to seduce him again, but he gets pissed off And eventually, he convinces the girls to leave because at first they wouldn't leave. You know what I'm saying? So one of the girls asked him for a ride back home. And so when he dropped them off, to the place, to their destination or whatever, they get out the car, but that's not where they really live. You know what I'm saying? I guess they was plotting against them. So, you know, he makes his way back home. He thinks the whole ordeal is over. But yo, this is just the beginning. So later on, you know what I'm saying, he gets up because he thought he heard something. And so he's walking through his house to see what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Because he heard what sounded like somebody walking around or something falling or breaking or something like that. And so he didn't see nothing. And one of the girls come out from behind him and hits him in the back of the head, knocking him out. You know what I'm saying? And so when he wakes up, he's tied up in the bed. And this is where the girls fuck his life up all the way. You know what I'm saying? Like they fuck his life all the way up. So the girl with the blonde hair, if you've seen this movie, then you know what I'm talking about. But one of the girls with the blonde hair, you know what I'm saying, starts calling him daddy. Oh, and before all of this though, before the two girls left the first time, they tried to blackmail him, saying that they were minors. You know what I'm saying? When they told him the night before, you know what I'm saying, that I mean, they were pretty much legal, but you know what I'm saying, they told him there was flight attendants the night before. You know what I'm saying? But that next day they told him that they were minors. You know what I'm saying? Because he was going to call the cops on them to get him out the house. So they were blackmailing him before what went down now. So one of the girls, you know what I'm saying, starts to get on top of him while the other girl is at his wife's table putting on her makeup and all of that, wearing her clothes and everything. So the girl that's on top of him starts, calling him daddy and just making up all kinds of crap saying, why did you do this to me, daddy? And what this and that. It was crazy, man. These broads were unhinged. Like unhinged actually is actually an understatement. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, the broad that's on top of him starts riding him because the other one, you know what I'm saying, was about to call his wife on FaceTime because she had possession of his phone. And so they was about to call his wife on FaceTime just to show her what they was about to do because they had their mouths by his penis again. And he begged them not to do it. And so he said he'd do anything they want, just don't call his wife. So they didn't. They agreed to it. And so now one of the girls on top of him, fucking him, you know what I'm saying? While the other one puts his phone in the corner, recording everything. You know what I'm saying? And so she walks out of the room. Yo, this movie is messed up, yo. So eventually, I forgot what Keanu's name was in the movie. I'm just gonna call him Reeves. Keanu, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But he gets free, you know what I'm saying? He gets loose from his restraints. He knocks the girl off of him and he runs into the living room and he sees the girl eating something. And so before he was able to get to her, she stabs him with a fork. And next thing you know, he's subdued again. And so now they tie him back up. And so these girls come out dressed in different clothing, right? And they're playing like this little so-called, game show, you know what I'm saying, with just those two, of course. But anyway, um while the girls are playing, you know what I'm saying, they threaten him by turning the volume up on his system, you know what I'm saying, to try to make him go deaf if he gets the question wrong or if he doesn't answer the question at all, you know what I'm saying? So eventually, um his boy shows up at the house, for the sculpture that he needed to pick up. And so they put him in a closet somewhere and they go outside to meet the guy. So the guy doesn't know anything. He knows nothing about what's going on. And so they invite him into the house to see the sculpture. And at the bottom of the sculpture, it looks like blood or paint or something. You know what I'm saying? It looks more like blood to me, but it's probably paint. You know what I mean? And you're supposed to tell the difference between blood and paint. I mean, I was just watching the movie for the story, so I wasn't really paying attention to the substance. But anyway, when the dude uncovered the sculpture, like he was pissed because at that point somehow he automatically knew they had something to do with that. And then all his professional went out the window, and this dude just started acting street. Yo, it was funny, man. He was calling them raggedy hoes and all of that. So, um, eventually, he heard Keanu screaming out for help, and so he goes to look for him, and then he finds him. But somehow the girls got a hold of his inhaler, and they was outside like fucking the sculpture up even more. And so while they were doing that, he was trying to get Keanu loose from his restraints. But the guy goes back outside to try to stop them from, destroying the sculpture even further. But he winds up having an asthma attack. And one girl, she had his inhaler and they was tossing it back and forth to each other, trying to keep it away from him. So eventually the dude falls and cracks his skull on the bottom of the sculpture and he dies instantly. And these girls are laughing. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, these broads were unhinged. And so they continue their little game, you know what I'm saying? So now the girls are messing with him about both of them being pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Even though chances are that likely did not happen. You know what I'm saying? So the one girl, the more sensible girl, you know what I'm saying? She tells him that he's gonna die the next day. And they wind up finding the gun by accident. And so instead of shooting him on the spot, they tie him up. And they went outside to bury a hole, you know what I mean? To bury a hole. To dig up a hole, you know what I'm saying? For him. So the next day, mm, 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 like his life was done. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry to say it, but his life was done. So they bring him outside and they put him in a hole and they bury him up to his neck. And one girl grabs this sculpture, like this cement sculpture or whatever. I guess it was a porcelain sculpture. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I wasn't really paying attention to the artwork. I was just looking at the movie for the story, but it was porcelain. You know what I'm saying? I'm an idiot. But anyway, the girl is about to smash it over his head. You know what I'm saying? But she didn't. She had like dropped it right next to him. So at this point, the girls told him that, because he kept telling them that he was a good father and he didn't deserve that. But the girls, they disagreed just by the simple fact that he slept with them. But they were seducing him the whole time. That was his argument. You know what I'm saying? So before the girls left, they took that video from the night before with the one girl riding him, you know what I'm saying, and uploaded it to Facebook and put it right there in front of him in the dirt, you know what I'm saying, so he could watch it. So afterwards, they leave, you know what I'm saying, and then he's still in the dirt. He's forced to watch a video that people are commenting. I can't talk today, y'all. You know what I'm saying? People are commenting on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? And that was sick. Like that right there was like the ultimate disrespect. You know what I'm saying? So his wife and kids come back from the beach, and they come into the house and they see everything is just destroyed because them girls destroyed the house. They cut up the couch, destroyed all the sculptures, destroyed the pictures and everything else. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of this, I guess it was his wife's partner or the man. I'm not sure who this woman was that showed up to the house. You know what I'm saying? But when Keanu opened the door, one of the girls came out from behind him, started like rubbing on him and all that. And then as soon as the woman saw it, you know what I'm saying? She had left because she just felt like this man was instantly disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? So she basically just ruined his whole shit right there at that point. But anyway, when the wife comes into the house, they see that the house is messed up. Then the movie ends abruptly. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't see her reaction. You don't see him confront. You don't see her confront him about anything because he was still buried out back. Now, one of my boys said something funny earlier, right? When we was talking about this film. He said if his wife would have saw that video that was uploaded to Facebook with the girl on top of him, she probably would have left his ass there. But man, I gotta tell you, yo, this movie's crazy, yo. This is exactly why you don't invite strangers into your house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Now, it could be exceptions to that, but most likely a person's not going to, if somebody shows up to your front door or whatever, more than likely you're not going to invite them inside. You know what I'm saying? You might tell them to wait there and you'll get them what they need or whatever. It's just realist. It's realistic. Now, I will say this. The decision he made by smashing these two females was actually, it was his fault. You know what I'm saying? Because from that point on, that's when you saw who they really were. And so I felt like no matter what he was saying, when he said he didn't deserve that, he was a good father, he was a good husband, didn't matter, bruh. You should have never slept with him. And that was basically the premise of the movie. Like, these girls are just going around in different houses and all that, targeting people to see if they could stay loyal. I guess that's what I took from it. But fun fact though, this movie is actually a remake from the 1977 movie Death Game, but I never seen that either. And then there's another remake before this one called what was it called? I forgot what it was called. It came out in 1980 though. But yeah, and then one more fun fact. The lady that showed up at the house, you know what I'm saying? The older lady, she was actually one of the girls in the original movie. You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy, man. But anyway, if you haven't seen it, it's called Knock Knock. You got to check it out. I'm giving this movie a 9 out of 10, definitely. And if you're watching this on YouTube, give me a like, comment, and subscribe. I will greatly, greatly appreciate it. And I appreciate all my subscribers now. I really do. Thank you guys. All right, I'm out of here. Peace.
The feeling is mutual. Come in, take a seat, share your thoughts with each, and preach it when you speak, so we can share kinetic energy throughout the brainwave. Keep us balanced out and all on the same stage.